Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Kyle, who's faced down two graveyard strategies in the last two rounds, yet again facing Nathan on Hogaak. And I'm pretty sure he's actually got only 3 Leylines of the Void in the sideboard. A Surgical Extraction playing the role of the 4th Leyline. That'll be a matter for Game 2. And possibly 3. Stitcher Supplier starting out for Nathan. Nothing too juicy in there yet. Of course, cards in the graveyard, a resource for this Hogaak deck. Able to use them to delve out the 8/8. And now Cabal Therapy. Incredibly good in this list. Very similar to the Nick Fit decks, in the ability to get great advantage off of sacrificing the creature. Nick Fit, of course, getting basic lands. Sometimes that is a symmetrical effect. Very often in this format it now is, with people playing more basics. Whereas here it's going to fill Nathan's graveyard even further. First one misses. The second one gets a pair of Snapcaster Mages. That is devastating. What could Kyle have put on top that would have made it worthwhile? Bloodghast coming back, Carrion Feeder, and now Hogaak coming out on turn 2. Looks like a Force of Will may have been hidden on top. Kyle wanting to have that force for a Hogaak coming out on the subsequent turn, but Nathan able to get 2 bodies in play thanks to Landfall. Just incredibly strong. Milling yourself. That graveyard is a resource, something that newer players eventually learn. Very often, mill is a strategy that newer players gravitate toward. They feel a kind of allure of that alternate win condition of decking your opponent. But you are playing with fire against many decks in Legacy. Even with Kyle here, milling him would give him options for his Snapcaster Mages. And unless you're actually winning the game, usually not a good thing to be milling your opponent. And these Hogaak decks really leverage just the tiniest amount of milling. Stitcher Supplier puts 3 cards in the graveyard, and then when it flashes, when you flash back Cabal Therapy with it, you get another 3 cards. 6 cards in the graveyard doesn't seem like that big a deal. Certainly dredge decks, at times are able to put 16 to 32 cards in the graveyard all on one turn, and they don't dominate the format. But we see here that incremental advantage is enough to get the ball rolling, and, an 8/8 is a powerful effect in Legacy. Trample, and then, of course, the inevitability. We'll see if Nathan has a full combo build running the altars to actually mill out Kyle once he's done, kind of setting up his side. We've got some Careful Studies. Looks like a Gravecrawler in the Stitcher Supplier. And is that a Force of Vigor? I believe it is. So Careful Study. A possibility for later on. Right now, the Stitcher Supplier gets a Bridge from Below into the graveyard. Now an Underground Sea. So it looks like Kyle missing his land drop? Because Kyle should be going first here. Nathan has 2 lands in play. Kyle just made his second land. It's a little befuddling. Leyline of the Void. A card worth mulling towards, so he doesn't have the Leyline. Doesn't have much of a hand. This could be a quick match here for Nathan. He's going to Cabal Therapy. More cards are going to go into the graveyard. And he's got some zombies. And now a Gravecrawler. Fetching. This is going to be like a Plague Engineer off the top. Fetching prior to Brainstorm makes me think he's going to want to use all his mana. No, it's going to be Snapcaster Ponder. Not great. Now the Snapcaster can trade with a token creature and give very little advantage to Nathan. It'll get rid of his bridges. Yes, you get rid of the Snapcaster, but that is potentially okay for Kyle. Careful Study now. This build that Nathan has together, running Careful Study and Brainstorm. Putting another Bridge from Below into the bin. And he's just going to swing with the Gravecrawler, which Kyle's going to be happy to take. If he traded there, Nathan would be able to stack. Oh, and there's the Surgical. Ooh, interesting. Snapcaster could have had some pretty high value flashing back a Surgical as well. So right now, 3 Bridge from Below's down. Nathan still has some bodies. If he gets Hogaak into his hand or graveyard, he will be able to cast it very easily. But Kyle has a counter for the first time. Brainstorm now. And fetch land, best combo in the game. Will it be enough? Plague Engineer. So that's going to get rid of Gravecrawler permanently. One of the few ways of doing that. And now Careful Study again. And at this point, Nathan just having a pair of 1/1s. This game remarkably swinging in Kyle's favor. Game 1 was over in an absolute blur. But now the combination of a Plague Engineer and Surgical Extraction, getting rid of the Bridge from Below's, and Kyle's down to race. Two more coming in. Just 2 at a time here. Nathan just has a single zombie in play, so he can't actually convoke. Stitcher Supplier just going to mill 6. Comes in, trigger, dies as a state-based effect. The dies trigger happens. All the cards end up in the graveyard eventually anyways. But yeah, we got 6 extra cards. And Kyle just hanging in there. This really didn't look like it was going to go well for him early on. But man, Plague Engineer is doing some work. We've got a discard and a shock, opening up 4 more damage. Four more. Now a Ponder. I'm pretty sure Kyle's still got at least the Force of Will in hand. He's going to keep another one on top, so he is loaded up, ready to stop anything Nathan would try and do. And those pair of 2-power creatures actually crossing the finish line there. We're going to game 3. Kyle's Grixis list showing tremendous resiliency here. Plague Engineer is a hell of a magic card. Shutting down so much of Nathan's strategy, getting rid of the Gravecrawlers completely, and turning those zombie tokens into just mere 1/1s. We'll see what Nathan can do here. Now, I was somewhat surprised by the opener. We'll see if Kyle has Leyline this time around. Kyle mulliganing. The London Mull has, I believe, made Leyline the premier sideboard card for these graveyard strategies. I've actually been selling through them pretty rapidly. Gravecrawler, a Savannah Lion here. 2 damage coming in. Now a Bloodghast. Nathan just doing this the old-fashioned way, paying mana for his creatures. And a Baleful Strix who is down to trade with either one of these 2/1s. Brainstorming. Nathan putting 2 back. Oh, considering his options, not as easy a decision. Good options perhaps here. Another land. And Force of Vigor. Trying to take out both the Baleful Strix and the Leyline would have been fantastic if it resolved. But Kyle has the Force of Will. Difficult spot here. We'll see how this plays out. It feels like it may have been worthwhile to wait until he had some discard to go along with it. He just may not have enough of a density of discard to make that worthwhile. I believe Nathan actually just milled himself despite the Leyline to prevent giving any type of advantage to Kyle. Of course, putting a Surgical Extraction into the graveyard is almost like letting him draw it if he has a Snapcaster in hand. Flashing back free spells is particularly devastating. None were more brutal than Mental Misstep back in the day. And this format has come a long way since those bannings. Legacy, the only format that could really keep its act together in the wake of all of these new Modern Horizons cards. I do enjoy Vintage and even Modern on occasion. I'll have some fun playing, but man, those formats had to tap out to the power level. Legacy embraced everything that Modern Horizons had to offer and kept on rolling. Jace the Mind Sculptor facing down a smattering of creatures here. And Colgan's Command taking down this Bloodghast, leaving just a Stitcher Supplier. And Baleful Strix happy to trade there. Bridge from Below being cast, and Nathan sees the writing on the wall. That is that. Jace the Mind Sculptor going to carry that game for Kyle from there on out. Nathan with no more resources and ill-equipped to get rid of that Leyline, given Kyle's full grip. So 3 up, 3 down, and there we see it. There's the Surgical, only 3 Leylines. But Kyle's still getting it done versus this Hogaak deck. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.